Everyone, it's Mopar Keith. We are in Indianapolis at the Indy Cylinder Head Mopar swap meet. We're gonna find some great stuff. Let's go inside and see what we can get. All right, so as you walk in, this is it. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. So let's get going. All right, so 68 Roadrunner Belvedere satellite trunk lid. You can see on there it's $1,000. You got 700 on that one, and it's a solid one, but it's dented up. So it might be rust free, but it's not dent free. All right, so to get a true measure of what it's like, all the way down, pretty dry unit. $1,000 is what they go for. All right, so 68 Roadrunner trunk lid. There's the phone number in case he doesn't sell it this weekend. This is a pretty interesting car right here. So this is what I would call a hidden gem, and this is actually a Hemi car. So we'll talk about a couple things that make it identifiable as a Hemi car without even looking at the paperwork. Let's come on in here. So one thing that is synonymous with like a 66 and 7 Plymouth Belvedere satellites or cornets, anywhere from the 67, 66 era, this is a Hemi car bracket right here. So this moves the electronics, the horn relay and the starter relay up. So this is a Hemi car item right here. And then we'll look at the K-frame. So this is a Hemi K-frame right here. So you can see this hole in this bracket. So this is a Hemi K-frame bracket right here, but something that'll throw you for a loop is this guy right here. So this pad right here, this is a Hemi bracket, absolutely, but at some point in the car's life, someone put just like a regular big block in it, so 383 or 440, so they welded this bracket onto it, and you can see all the rough welding and everything, but this is like a B or RB bracket that someone welded on, but underneath all of that, you can tell it's a Hemi K-frame. Right, I can take that. So another thing you can tell right there, there's your Hemi skid plate. So absolutely a Hemi K-frame. So we can just kind of walk around the car and see if it's something that's buildable. So Cornet comes with some extra parts. Vinyl top car, bucket seat. It's a 4-speed car. Comes with a floor pan, air cleaner. Doesn't come with an engine though. It comes with the correct 67, 68 torque flight. So the Hemi torque flights actually have some internal parts that are different. They have a different input bearing and different planetary gears. So those are a little bit different. Let's see if this car has any extra torque boxes underneath of it. All right, so one thing that's also familiar with these cars too is it will actually have an extra piece of metal in there. It's a little hard to see, but you got a rear spring shackle. And then we've got torque boxes right here. So that torque box right there is what you're usually going to find. And another piece, we won't be able to see it, but the pinion right there, if you could see that, the pinion actually has a special brace in the floor pan. So by all accounts, this is definitely a Hemi car. 4-speed, you can see the console brackets there. All right, so here we go with that. So one of 135 automatic cars, and someone had put a 4-speed in it. No fender tag, but it reads that it has 2 build sheets. There's the phone number, make an offer. So this is definitely a hidden gem. So if you're looking to get into a Hemi car, this is a good starter car. So 1966 Hemi Cornet. All right, so I found the other hard thing to find, some actual 67. So 67 is a 1 year only. door configuration, 67 A-body Barracuda, and Carl was nice enough to hold these for me, and we'll pick them up tomorrow. I always see on Facebook Marketplace is these giant rear glasses for the mid-60s Barracudas, and a lot of people think that because it's so giant, it's super expensive and they're worth a mint. The truth is, and it's right here, that people cannot hardly give these things away. And this guy, he's just gonna break it and get rid of it. So here's the truth right here. These things are not worth a mint. The guy just wants to get rid of it. And no one's restoring these cars necessarily, so they're not worth that much. All right, so I'm super excited that we traveled a long ways to find what we needed. Between all my connections and other videos, we were able to secure a very nice rust-free, dry, dent-free trunk lid for a 67 Barracuda project. And Jesse from the Kansas City area was kind enough to bring it along. Right here, this thing is absolutely perfect, and you just don't find them much better than this. And this is what you're looking for right here. This absolutely dry, no blistering, no rust at all. This trunk lid is like what you need for a restoration. So we are extremely happy to come by this part. And a lot of the naysayers said we couldn't find fenders, a nose piece, or a trunk lid. And the Indy swap meet, it never fails. It's like going to Carlisle or the Minnesota Mopars in the Park. It's gonna be here, you're gonna find it. So very, very nice piece, and we're super excited to bring it home to Iowa. All right, so here we go, 67 Barracuda. We found a mint condition nose piece and a very, very nice, solid left front fender. And we got it from Jason Moore here. Hello. So, and he's gonna bring, tomorrow, he's gonna bring a right front fender. So for all the naysayers that said I'm not gonna find this stuff, we've got some really nice stuff here at the Indy swap meet. All right, I'm here with Keith Long with the 727 transmission specialist. And this is one thing that we run into all the time at our shop is reverse lights don't work. And obviously it could be like light bulbs or wiring or stuff like that, but it always comes down to where the transmission has a faulty, or not really even a faulty part, it has a mismatch of early transmissions and later transmissions. And it comes down to where the neutral safety switch may be a mismatch for the transmission that you have in your car. So what we're finding out is that with a 3-pin neutral safety switch, it doesn't work in an older style transmission. Now Keith is here and he's got some really good examples of what happens. And Keith, can you tell us what activates the neutral safety switch in the earlier ones, and then where we get our reverse lights from the later model ones?
Right, yeah. The early single prong neutral safety has this type of thing on the valve body that actually does the grounds for your neutral safety.
Okay.
The later model 170 and later have this that also does your backup lights. So you have your two little pins there that do the neutral safety, and then the detent that does your backup lights.
Okay.
So if you have a single prong neutral safety, it's never going to turn on your backup lights.
Right. So this would be like 68 and older.
69 and older.
69 and older.
Yes.
Okay.
And then 70 and later is this.
Okay. All right. And then, so what do you have to do? Let's say I have a car that comes in. Let's say it's a mismatched transmission for that particular one. With keeping that transmission, what do I have to replace to make that reverse light work?
Got to have the 3-prong neutral safety,
right,
and the shift arm with the plastic piece there.
Okay, so is that a whole valve body replacement?
No,
or
you can just replace the shift arm.
So this shift arm will fit on other valve bodies?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so that is the fix. Now, is that a piece that you sell, or I can just rob out of other?
Yeah, you got to get that from other valve bodies.
So I could just have old used transmissions and rob it out of them and do it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's very helpful information, because we constantly run into cars where they don't have reverse lights. And when you're trying to make a car and everything work, you got to have reverse lights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what people always say, hey, your reverse lights don't work, or your brake lights don't work. get it right. So this is the fix.
This is the fix, yeah, and this is
All
the
right.
problem.
Okay.
If your backup lights don't work, you either got a single
All right.
prong neutral safety in there or a valve body for a single prong neutral safety. Your backup lights will never work no matter what you put it in.
Right, no matter what you do.
Right.
So, all right, Keith. Well, I appreciate the time.
Okay.
And thanks for the information.
You're welcome.
All right, very good. And we are here with Mandy with Way Out Restorations. And we've been following you through some of the shows. We've actually been at another show together, selling our stuff and kind of promoting our business. And so today I kind of wanted to get to talk to you and figure out what this is all about. Can you tell us like what you build or your artwork here and how you got started with it?
Yeah, I started working at a shop probably about 5 years ago now that I started this, and I was learning to use tools. I was just very interested. I wanted to learn. I was like interested in cutting metal, and I started doing fiberglass work. We were building like big boy statues and different signs and whatnot, but I was suggested get some paint, and I was off and running. I would I hand plasma cut steel and hand paint it. That's how I create my original pieces. I learned to weld a little bit, not professionally, but in an artistic way. I can stick stuff together.
Right.
But and then it turned into me wanting to get out there and meet people in person and do shows. And so I started creating just these are aluminum signs, but they're prints of my originals. So I do that, and I was getting into doing the stickers, and it's been fun to like get out there and meet people and kind of get my work out there at the same time.
Right.
But I really...
So all of these pieces right here, you do the painting and everything about it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to farm it out or anything. So you have a shop where you build all this stuff?
Yep. I was that's one of my originals, but the stuff I bring to shows is a little different. It is a print. So I farm that out. Somebody makes that for me.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all my originals are all hand painted with Automotive enamel.
Okay. All right. And so you started with the flat signs, but you've also expanded it to, let's talk about some of these figures right here.
Yeah, I've done this stand-ups, and these are kind of replicas of like the bigger pieces I've made. I've done some life-size pieces.
Oh, wow.
And they were hand-painted. I would weld them together. They'd have a really cool base. I would use like 1/4-inch plate for the bases and add some wheels. So they were kind of like a life-size stand-up and hand-painted and all that. And these are like the small replicas of it. So I did a really cool one with Richard Petty. He signed 243 of these for me. So it was a really cool project that I got to do. And then you might recognize this gal, Claudia. Pasalacquia, she is Miss Direct Connection. I got to do that project with her, and I did build her an original large one that she would take around to shows, and it was really neat. And that's her iconic poster image, so I got to kind of put my spin on it and work with her, which is really cool. And then I did another one with Linda Vaughn, Miss Hurst, and we did 2 different designs for stand-ups. So it was just really, I've met some really cool people, got to do some really cool projects, and it's fun.
So you have a van that you load all this stuff into.
Yeah, my truck.
And you travel. What gets you out into the world? Like, do you just look at a calendar of car shows and swap meets, and you just kind of make a route where you just...
Yeah, I kind of go out on the road, and sometimes I'll like kind of piggyback and do a couple shows at once, but I try to, keep it so I can travel and make like a little, like a little path. I'll go out and do some shows. But yeah, it's just any big car show, any cool car show. Swap meets are fun, awesome. I like to do those too. I go to Carlisle a lot, Pigeon Forge for the rod runs, and I've been down to Florida a few times. So.
And you're based out of Ohio?
Northwest Ohio.
All right, so you probably aren't going to go out west or anything. There's enough shows in the Midwest.
Yeah, I haven't gone out west too much.
Right. I mean, there's enough to keep you busy every weekend here in the Midwest and the Eastern Seaboard.
It does, it keeps me busy.
Yep. So you try to do something every weekend?
So I have, but I also want to. I have to have that happy medium of being in the shop and doing the hand-painted stuff and the commission work that I do, and then also go out on the road and get to meet people and do the shows. So I'm trying to find that happy medium.
So you do commission work. So if someone said, hey, I want a figure or a sign, you could come up with some artwork.
Yep, I definitely do custom stuff or commissions like people's logos or just anything that they can dream up that come up with a cool concept.
Yeah, so there's an idea. So I have my own personal logo, and we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future I have you make a sign for me of
Yeah.
some kind.
Absolutely, I can definitely do that. That would be very cool.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So, what are some of the new projects that you're working on here? I see you got decals and pins. You've got some new stuff. We talked about some Mopar specific type of artwork. So, what is like your latest work?
My latest one is my Scat Pack guy, but I am working on some other things. I really love pinup work, like pinup art. So I'm working on some new pinup girls and stuff for shows. And then I do have some jobs that I'm working on for some people that'll be cool, that I'll be posting on my pages when they're done. I always post my work, new things. But yeah, I'm working on expanding my designs.
This is one of your latest ones here.
That's my latest.
Very cool. Very cool.
I really love Mopar stuff, so I'm working on getting some new stuff together.
You go to all different shows, so you're talking with Chevy guys, Ford guys.
I don't discriminate. Yeah, I like everything. So whatever catches my eye and kind of it's definitely inspiration. When I go to these shows, like I am inspired by a ton of stuff.
Right.
So it's
obviously here at the Indy Cylinder Head show, it's Mopar only.
Yes.
When you go to these other brands or multi-car shows, do you change the layout or anything, or is this pretty consistent throughout?
Pretty consistent. Like I bring all my stuff. Like I pretty much bring like a variety of everything that I've done. I don't really leave anything behind. But yeah, because everybody likes something different, and even though there might be a Mopar guy, they might see something else that they like, so yeah, I try to just bring everything. But I try to have something for everybody.
Right.
So yeah.
Do you do your own jewelry work here? I see.
Yeah, actually, my mom does this. So she loves doing things with beads. So she makes these really cool bracelets. Like she spends so much time on these. Like they're just really cool. So I was like, hey, come up with something automotive related, and I'll take it. These are for rear view mirrors. So a lot of the ladies that come to the shows, they love hanging these in their car. Like if they have a red car, they'll I try to have different colors so they match it to their car. So yeah, it's been really fun. It's something for everybody,
And that's you hit on a good point right there, because this hobby, if you might say that, is so. I mean, it's like 90% guys.
You're right, it is.
But every guy has a wife or girlfriend or something, so you got to have something for the women.
Exactly. A lot of guys will say, hey, I bought a bunch of parts here, so I'm going to bring this home to my woman, and, I don't want to come home empty-handed. So I think it's really thoughtful. So I do have that a lot, too.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so the jewelry's great, and you've got to have something for everybody, so men and women. And so what is your favorite piece? What are you working on that you really enjoy? What is your favorite piece out of all of this?
I would say my favorite piece that I've done would definitely be like my Rat Fink inspired pinup girl. Like I love pinup art. I've always been attracted to that. Like I always gravitated towards it. But I like taking something that is totally like a masculine thing and making it like feminine. So I thought it was really cool like that. And I had never seen anybody do that with like Rat Fink. So I thought it would be cool to put a feminine edge to it, and I love how it turned out. It's my favorite, so
great.
I was really proud of it. So.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Of course.
And it's been a great weekend here at the Indy Cylinder Head Swap Meet Show. Where can people find you?
Way Out Restorations, and I'm on Facebook, Instagram. So I have an Etsy shop, and all the links would be on my pages. So.
Okay, very good. And I wanted to talk to Chris Bolander about his front suspension on the tubular front suspension for Mopars.
Yep.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you guys started in it, and then maybe how you developed this, and what advantages this has over other suspensions?
Yep. So my previous experience was with Gerst tubular suspension. He sold out to another individual. And after that company took over, I saw a need to replace the quality that we used to do. And I knew there was room for improvement on the steering geometry itself. So we made some changes, rack location, different spindle, just to help with turning radiuses, keeping the steering Ackerman corrected, camber curves throughout that, and bump steer. So we tried to fix everything the old suspension design was lacking, and still put out a high quality piece that kind of went away when a larger company took over that product.
What cars does this fit, or do you make them custom for each customer?
So we have 67 to 76 A body, early Bs, so 62 to 65, and then 66 to 72 B bodies, and then 70 to 74 E bodies. So A, B, and E stuff, other than the 73, 74 Bs that are a little different.
Yeah, they
K-frame.
changed the K-frame to the isolator style.
Correct.
And are there any plans to make suspension for
Yeah,
that?
I would like to come up with something that
Okay.
we can do, but it's probably down the road a little bit. We're working on a D100 72 to 93 stuff upcoming, so that's kind of my focus right now, and I would like to eventually hit that 73, 74 market, but it's a little bit down the road for us.
So I used to own a 69 Dodge D100, and if you've ever driven a D100, they drive terrible. Straight front axle, the steering, I mean, they literally ride like a lumber wagon, and I ended up selling the truck, but I always thought it would be the best interest of the truck and owning it to put some kind of front end under that
So
thing.
we're trying to cover that market next, and hopefully by summer we'll have something available that we can
I think
put
you'll
out.
make a hit because the truck market, I mean, the D100s, they're so many years have that style, and they're a pretty popular truck.
Yep.
So I think that would be very cool. And then you could also lower the suspension or,
Yep.
or choose your ride height.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
That's kind of the goal, is to give that customized look without Frankenstein and other vehicle parts onto a
Right,
truck. So.
right. So you have a shop. Where are you located at?
We're in Fort Madison, Iowa, southeast Iowa, but we'll ship anywhere in the lower 48. Ship some to Canada. That's a little touchy with tariffs and stuff now, but we can ship anywhere.
All right. So all of this you hand built right in Iowa then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So is there anything else that you can show us, like, what style of rack is this? Who builds the rack?
So it's a custom valve rack. It is a T-bird based rack, but it's built to handle the higher pressure of like a Gen 3 pump. So it'll take 1,200 psi and 3.5 gallons a minute. So it's not super twitchy. Our kits do include everything needed to install though. So a lot of other manufacturers don't include everything, and you got to find stuff later. So if you get a power rack, you're going to get plumbing to go from the rack to your pump. You're going to get your steering U-joints, support bearing for your steering column. Everything you need to install is going to be in our kits.
Right. So I recognize this right here. So is this the classic B&E body shock tower?
Yeah, that's what we're showing in our display, is a B&E body setup.
Right.
So.
And then what about the brake? What brand of brakes are we running here?
We're using a Willwood spindle and Willwood brakes. We have everything from 11-inch 4-piston up to 15-inch 6-piston options, kind of depending on wheel size. Standard height spindles, drop spindles. Like I said, wheel size really comes into where we can go with that, but that's a conversation we can have when you're ready to order.
Right. And I see we have a Viking shock or coilover shock.
That's our standard shock we use. So any kit price you look at is going to come standard with the Viking double adjustable coilovers.
Okay. And what's the preferred header, like TTI, or does it support other header
So
brands?
TTI is what I tell guys to go with. I know I have a couple customers that have used Doug's that are for tubular K-frames, and they will work. But most guys that haven't gone that way, I just tell them TTI is the way to go.
I see. And then what other oil pan would go with this system in a Gen 3 Hemi?
So like I said, we did bump the rack back, so you do have to run a rear sump pan, and we work with Kevco to design a pan that will work. I do have a couple customers that have used the Holley cast pan, but it gets pretty close to the rack. It will fit, but it is tighter on clearance.
I see,
so.
like you can't even put your finger under there.
Yeah,
That's completely
it's
tight.
pretty tight to the rack.
Right.
So the Holley cast pans do fit, but the Kevco pan we come up with has a little more clearance, and it's a complete kit as well if you order it. It's pickup tube, stud kit, gasket. It's a complete, anything that is needed to install on your motor is included in the kit.
Okay.
So
where can people find you?
BolanderFabrication.com is our website. There's links to our socials there. We have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We do have a YouTube page as well.
Okay. And what's the name of your YouTube page?
It's Bolander Fabrication and Suspensions.
Okay.
I think it's at BFS Mopar is the.
Okay. All right. And I help you advertise a little bit on my Facebook page, Mopar's and Muscle, and we also have a TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube channel. So you can find you just about anywhere then.
Yep.
So okay. All right. Thanks for the interview.
Yep. Thanks for
good luck to
your
you.
time, Keith.
Yep. kind of thing you want to buy when you're at a swap meet and maybe don't buy it on eBay. So this is a mid-60s center console, 4-speed. So this one right here is a 64. You can tell by the way that the small console light right here, and then here's the later model one that most people will be familiar with, because this is the same as the 66, 7, 8, 9, and 70 center console light. So the owner of this establishment here is Charlie, and he custom builds these per the buyer's what they need for their car. So a lot of new chrome. He goes through these and makes sure that the hinges are all nice, does the reupholstery and the carpets and everything. This one right here has the original performance gauge on it, or you could add a modern day tachometer if you like. But these things aren't cheap, so I don't think you want to buy these on Marketplace or eBay. I think you want to buy them when you're at a show. So $1,315, I think it's well worth the buy if you need one. All right, so going through the swap meet, we found some stuff that is kind of near and dear to my heart, and I'm always about the TAs and the AARs, and so we found some really cool stuff. I wish I had the money for it. Maybe I will. So right here we've got specific Trans Am stuff. We've got the correct air cleaner lid with the extra umbrella, and then we've got the 1970 Trans Am air cleaner base, and we've got an intake and carburetors. And so he's asking a decent amount of money, but it's priced fair. So we're looking at around, like, to buy the whole package, you're right around $6,000 in change for the whole thing. So if you're looking for something like this, everything, here's the guy's card. It's Tim Kammerer. He's got this for sale. If he doesn't sell it at the show, you can contact him. Now I think I'm going to buy this lid. Now they reproduce these lids, but it's always nice to have an original one. And I'm thinking about buying this. So interesting thing about this is it was actually used in a 4-barrel at one point. So you can see it's got an extra hole for the 4-barrel stud in there. But you can also tell it's an original one because it's got a flat edge right back here. So this is for firewall clearance. So this is absolutely an original Trans Am air cleaner lid. Also, this would fit A12 cars. So fresh air fiberglass hood cars. So this is the same air cleaner lid for those as well. So these sell for anywhere from $300 to $400 depending on condition. Here's a couple other things that are unique to a Trans Am car. Here's one that's TA specific. This is a 450 wheel. This would only be offered on a Challenger, so with a poverty cap and a trim ring. Then we've got a 1970 original Trans Am car mufflers. You see the Pentastar there and the muffler outlets. So these are original. A couple other things here. This is something that really doesn't go with the rest of the cars here, but here is a Superbird rear panel for the rear window plug on a 1970 Plymouth Superbird. Here is a Trans Am, or CUDA specific. This is for the CUDA, AAR only, one hood hinge spring. Of course, everybody knows what the pistol grip is. This one is well used, well loved. We've got TA valve covers with the extra tall stand. And then these right here, these are the infamous TA heads. And this is a U head, and one reason you can tell they're the TA heads is because the lifter, or I'm sorry, the push rod hole is radiused out, and then it should say 915s. So there's the casting number right there. So these are actual TA heads right here. And another thing that I'll probably buy today, these are road lamp brackets. So this is a Plymouth only. Dodge did not have road lamps, only the Plymouth. So you could get road lamps in a 70 or 71 CUDA. So absolutely cool stuff. I'm going to buy some stuff here. So if you're in the Trans Am cars, this is the guy. All right, so we're not going to document every part at this show, but certain things we're going to talk about, and the price of these things is just escalating like crazy. So the hot cars right now, and they have been for some time, is TA and AARs. And the carburetors and the intakes that go to these cars are extremely rare, and they bring a premium price. And you can see right there, $3,800. So that's how much that thing is. Now they have gone for cheaper, and this one obviously isn't exactly perfect, but $3,800. I think the coolest stuff is in the back room where not a lot of people are at, and we've been kind of looking for some E-body rally gauges to fulfill a couple empty spots, and we stumbled onto this. So we've got 1970 and 1971, and we've got some really cool things to point out. Now these white, I call them like a light tunnel. The light actually shines through there. These are broken or melted all the time, and this guy has a collection of them here. So those are present. The other thing I want to point out too is the red line. So right here we've got, this is for a 1970 or 71 426 Hemi, and what we have is 5,000 to 5,400. This is the yellow zone. This is with the red line area for the 426, and then the actual red line starts at 5,500 and goes up. Now when we come over to this guy right here, this is for a 340 or 440, and you can see the yellow area extends to 6,500 and it's faded, but the red line starts at 6,500 and higher. So it basically is what the Mopar engineers are saying, is they don't want that 426 to rev as high as a 340 or a 440 or even a 383. So those are some of the differences in the rally gauge clusters, and I think we're going to buy one of these today. All right, so one other little tidbit that we've been made aware of. Now I knew there was a difference, but we're here with, what's your name? Brian Schultz. All right, Brian's going to explain the very different Challenger. 70 Challenger. Now this is actually on a radius. It's got a radius to it versus a Plymouth. Now we'll show everybody this, the Plymouth, which is pretty much bored straight. So it's just straight all the way across versus the 70 Challenger that has a radius. So things you need to know when you're buying these parts. All right, we're gonna check out some other parts that are really cool, but this is why you need to know what you're buying. So let's check out some door handles. All right, so these are door handles for E-body, and there's a few things that will let you know whether they are a Dodge or a Plymouth. And so let's take a closer look. And I also want to explain why you want to buy these. All right, so I'm going to say this is a Challenger, and then the reason it's a Challenger is because it's got a convex kind of curve, and you can see the way this curves out at the bottom. So this conforms to the Dodge Challenger profile on the door. The other reason you want to buy these is the reproductions don't come with a lock cylinder. They don't come with the lever, the C-clip, or that special screw right there, or this special screw with the clip and this little horseshoe clip right here. So all of these parts are very valuable in my opinion because they don't reproduce them. You can buy this piece, but you can't buy the guts on the inside. Let's see, okay, perfect. Here's the other example. This one is curved the opposite way. So this is a Barracuda door handle, all right? So you can see the way it's curved, and then that specifically signifies that it's for a Plymouth. So right here we have two examples. We have a Dodge and a Plymouth door handle, and they both have the guts on the inside. So in my opinion, if I buy a whole bunch of these, they're worth every bit of $20 to $25. Good buy at the swap meet. All right, so last year we were at the same booth and we were looking at pretty much the similar items, and I just kind of wanted to check back in because I'm always looking for a knob for my cassette player, and we've got another cassette player right here. These are rather expensive and they're always missing the knob. So right here, if you find one of these with the knob is a good part of the whole deal, and the price tag on this one is $750. So $750, no microphone and no pedestal. but this is the console mounted pedestal, but you could also buy a floor mounted pedestal for it also. And they come with the dictaphone, which is the microphone. But yeah, the knob right there, that's what's always missing. And the reason they're always missing is because people would just pull them off. And I've even heard stories where someone would have one at a swap meet and people would steal them. They would just pull the knob right off because there's nothing really holding them on. And then the other thing is this idle stop solenoid. So this would be either a A12 or a Trans Am car, and these are worth about $600 to $650 for that. So anyway, things that, in my opinion, if you're looking for them, that's the kind of money you're going to spend. So try to buy one with a knob, but that might add another $100 to that price. So $700, $800 for a cassette player. That's what you're going to pay. All right, so just moving down the line here. Here's something, if you really need it, you're probably going to buy it. And I'm not talking about the Hemi valve covers. I'm talking about the wing right here. So all aluminum wing. So Daytona wing, if you need one, I have no idea what it's worth. And I'm afraid to actually ask, but 69 Daytona wing. This was here last year. And obviously they're wanting a pretty good penny for it because it hasn't sold yet. And the hits just keep coming. So we've got another 6-pack air cleaner base and lid. And once again, this is the correct original lid because it's got the umbrella lip and it's got the flat spot on the edge there. So that's an original. And we've got original Edelbrock 6-pack intake. All right, I didn't even ask the price. The prices are pretty insane on this stuff. I saw one earlier for like $2,500. This guy probably wants a bunch more. So anyway, really, really good stuff. In my opinion, prices are not dropping. The stuff, they just don't make it anymore, so prices are still going to be high on all of this stuff. All right, we are packed tight. We had a blast over the last 2 days. We got the truck completely filled. We pretty much fulfilled our shopping list, and we're gonna head home now. So please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. All right, we just got back from the Indy Cylinder Head swap meet show in Indianapolis. This is an all-Mopar show, and we just got the truck unloaded, and without the help of everybody involved, this wouldn't have happened. So I just have to say thanks to everyone involved. I'm going to call you out by name here. So we've got Jesse with the trunk lid. This thing is absolutely perfect. Thanks to Jesse and his dad for bringing that from the Kansas City area. He also supplied me with some door handles and some other small stuff, clutch switch and some latches. I want to thank Brian for the gauge sets, Jim for the air filter, and a big shout out to one of the biggest items that I bought was to Jason Moore on the fenders. And let's see, we got the nose, the fenders, just a huge deal on that. This is going to really escalate the build on the CUDA that we're doing. I'd like to thank Carl for the doors and the vent windows. That really helped out. And Tim, thank you, Tim, for selling me the lid and some other Trans Am parts and the rear valance. I don't think, oh, and Timothy. So Timothy was not at the swap meet, but he was kind enough to ship out some CUDA road lamps, and those showed up on Friday. So just a giant shout out. Oh, the guys at the steering gear, we got a gearbox from them. And I'd also like to thank the people that we did the interviews from. Keith Long with the transmissions. We did Kevin Shaw with Mopar Connection Magazine. Mandy with the road art. Who else? So we also saw like Chris Morris and Chris Bolander. So I really appreciate everybody that took the time to do the little interviews for my YouTube channel. So once again, thanks to everybody who responded to my ads, and haha to all the people that said I wasn't going to find these parts. Here they are right here. So anyway, thanks for watching my channel. Please subscribe, comment, Let me know what your best experience at a swap meet was, and watch for the next swap meet videos. We're going to be at the Mopars in the Park at the end of May or beginning of June. So Mopars in the Park in Minnesota coming up. So everybody, thanks again, and thanks for watching.